Hi, I'm Phil Stewart, and this video is about the mystery game that I created. Now, you could call it an escape room or a scavenger hunt, but I don't think it fits quite into either of those categories, so I've just been calling it the mystery game. And it's a props-based narrative mystery game, so there are clues, there's hidden objects, there's puzzle boxes to solve, which have been 3D printed on my 3D printer, and I've been running through it with friends and family. It's set in the ground floor of my house, and I wrote the clues and the letters and designed most of the props myself. Some of the props are downloaded from the internet, and I'll make sure I link those in the description of the video. It's worth saying as well at the very beginning of this, if you do know me, your friend or family, and you haven't played the game yet, stop the video now, because this is full of spoilers. I mean, it's the entire point of the video, is it's giving everything away, and it's running through how I did everything and how everything ties together. If you don't know me in real life and you think that you would like to play something like this, what I'm going to do throughout the video is I will pop up photographs of parts of the house that are referenced in the clues, and you can pause the video and see if you can have a go at solving some of those clues yourself. The objects will be visible in the photographs at that time. That's all I have to say at the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making the game and writing everything, creating everything. Let's go.
So it starts off, the players get this letter. If you don't want to read the whole letter, the writer of the letter basically explains that the house that the game is set in is cursed. Everyone who buys the house ends up ill and their loved ones end up dying. And so you have to solve the curse. That's the aim of the game. The original writer of the letter consulted a mystic who pointed them to a particular point on the ground floor. He dug there and he found a copy of a letter and this mystery box, which just says, "I open when I am," and the lid is sealed. You can't get it off. You can't lever it off or anything like that. And it has these symbols around the edge, around the sides, which mean nothing at this point, but it's worth showing. And you've got that one there with the O, and it's got a cross in. And you can see again, it says, "I open when I am." So part of the letter, there is this clue: Swedish twins, when music plays near where four parade sing and sway, a secret sleeps within their hold, story resting yet untold, embodies embrace where shadows dwell, a revealing truth the twins can tell. Now, in my house we have a piano, which is where the music plays. Near where four parade sing and sway, we have these pigs who are parading pigs, so that four sing and sway. A secret sleeps within their hold, a story resting yet untold, embodies embrace where shadows dwell, a revealing truth the twins can tell. So the Swedish twins are these are IKEA chairs. They are from IKEA, are Swedish, and the rest of the clue tells you that a story resting yet untold embodies embrace where shadows dwell. So it's inside the chairs. And you can see that actually, if you do go to the back of the chairs, there's these zips, and if you unzip the zips and you put your arm inside, you can find that there are these two decoder rings. They can be lined up against each other, and then using the key on the white box, so that's the circle with the crucifix, the cross in. If you align them in that way, and then you use the decoder discs to decode what is shown on the side of the box, it decodes to be DIZZY, so dizzy. I open when I am dizzy. So the way to solve it is to spin the box, and the lid pops off. And then you have inside this new puzzle box, and alongside that there is another clue, which is the next part of the story. So I'll leave this paused for a second, and this also has a rhyming clue in it. So you can go ahead and read that letter if you'd like to, but the rhyming clue is this one. It says, "This is not a queen or a worker or drone, but it lives alongside them, concealed inside their home." Now, this is pertaining to one of the board games that I have on my board game in my board game collection, which is in the corner of the room next to the piano. And if you want to take a look and figure out which one you think that might pertain to, you can pause the video now So the clue, this is not a queen or a worker or drone. Those are all words that describe types of bees. So it's bees, but it lives alongside them, concealed inside their home. And the answer, you've probably worked out, is hive. And if you take the hive game down, inside there is another bag, and that holds another clue, and also holds a piece of a tablet. So that next clue leads you to the next piece of the tablet and the next board game. No grey area for this piece. It must escape the round and stout, but while it may bamboozle, it must take no knockout. So again, I'll pop up the board game collection so you can take a look at that. And you might realise that it refers to Takanoko. So that is a game which is about pandas, and the part of the game is you are growing bamboo in your garden, and the game's called Takanoko. So if we look at that clue again, no grey area for this piece. So no grey area. So it's black and white, black or white. So pandas are black and white. I must escape the round and stout. Pandas are round and stout. They're well known as quite big animals. They're round and chunky. Yeah. While it may bamboozle, bamboo, pandas eat bamboo. It must take no knockout. So knockout is KO, and actually take no KO is Takenoko. It's the name of the board game. So it's all hidden there inside the clue. And then once you've worked that out, you can open Takenoko, and inside there is the next piece of the tablet and the next clue. Stranded by a bayside foe, this fragment knows not when it will see man or home or its family again. And I'll pop up the picture again, and you might have worked out that that refers to Robinson Crusoe. So stranded by a bayside foe, this fragment knows not when. So the fragment, the next part of the puzzle, the next piece, it will see man or home or its family again. So this, as a whole, it refers to the story of Robinson Crusoe. Person stranded on an island, doesn't know when he'll see anyone again or when he'll ever get home. But there are multiple smaller clues inside of this. So, stranded by a bayside foe. The original book, Robinson Crusoe, was written by Daniel Defoe. So you've got Defoe there in the first line. This fragment knows not when it will see man. Robinson Crusoe was a sailor, a seaman, or its family again. So you've got a few extra clues there, and that all points to Robinson Crusoe. Once you've figured that one out, you get the next piece and you get the next clue, which says, wearing a dark robe, enjoys games of strategy at lively social. And you might have worked out that this one refers to Sushi Go Party. The clue, wearing a dark robe, enjoys games of strategy at lively social. So wearing a dark robe, that's a piece of sushi. So most sushi has seaweed around the outside. Wearing a dark robe, enjoys games of strategy. One of the most famous games of strategy, Go. At lively social refers to a party. So sushi, go, party. Also, this clue, unlike the others, this is a haiku. So it's 5 syllables, then 7 syllables, and then 5 syllables. And a haiku is a Japanese poem. And this all ties together to make Sushi Go Party. Once you've figured that out, and if you've opened up the box, you will see there's another piece and another clue. And this is the final clue for this part of the game. The last part of this tablet that you must seize is more a vaccine than a tablet, holding back disease. Now, most people answer that it's pandemic, and you wouldn't be too far off, honestly. However, I've been a bit sneaky with this one. If you open the pandemic box, there's nothing in there, and it's holding back disease. So what we've got there is an extra piece of the puzzle. There is in fact a bookend holding the pandemic games up, and it's inside the bookend. If you take that away and you pull it out and pop out the piece, there is the final piece of the tablet. And then all those pieces of the tablet go together, and those use the decoder rings again. And this time you align the rings by using the letter. You can see above the A of Agatha, she's got the archway, and that indicates that you've got to use the A and the archway next to each other, and that decodes to decaged apples. So now this is a clue I'm quite proud of. There are two ways of reading this. You could read it de-caged apples, apples that have been removed from their cages, so they've been peeled and pulped and had their juice extracted. Or you could read it deck-aged apples, so deck being 10, deck-aged 10-year-old apples. I'll just pop up a picture of our liquor shelves here. You might spot that one of the boxes on there is a 10-year-old cider brandy box, so that is 10-year-old apple juice essentially, so decaged, deck-aged apples. So that's that clue. And if you open that box, inside there is a cryptex and the next clue. So this clue reads, souls new to the region shall make this curse weaken from a crystal palace, here not yet a season. In gaps can be seen, surrounding a pillar, the crucial five hidden, their secret spied in a mirror. This last cash an assault on the heart, not the mind, locked in a deep room, but floating over the grind. Now, this is the clue, which is probably going to be hardest to explain in the video. So this game is designed to be played at a dinner party. So during the dinner party, there'll be a number of things on the table. One of those is our salt grinders. That's what the clue is referring to, is it's our salt cellar. So to explain that, souls new to the region shall make this curse weaken from a crystal palace, here not yet a season. So when I wrote this game, we just moved from a part of London called Crystal Palace to our new house, which is where the game is set. So it says, souls new to the region shall make this curse weaken. So the solution, the people that are going to solve the curse are from Crystal Palace. But also, a Crystal Palace refers to the salt cellar. It's a salt crystals kept inside a salt cellar, a salt grinder is a palace for crystals. Here not yet a season, in gaps can be seen. If you actually read those lines back to back, it says seasoning, season in gaps, seasoning, which is salt, can be seen surrounding a pillar. The crucial five hidden, their secret spied in a mirror. The crucial five hidden are the 5 letters that the required to open the cryptex, and they are arranged on an object that is surrounding a mirrored pillar. And our salt cellar has a metal bar in the center of it, which is essentially a mirror. This last cache an assault, assault, on the heart, not the mind. So salt is bad for your heart. It's not bad for your mind, it's bad for your heart. Locked in a deep room, but floating over the grind. A deep room, we call them, it's a cellar. In the UK, you have a cellar, it's your basement, but floating over the grind. So the grind is the salt cellar, salt grinder. And actually, if you then open up the salt cellar, you will see that there is this part inside that when you pop it out has got 5 letters, and it's another 3D printed part. And you take those 5 letters and they are CECIL, and actually if you go back to the very first letter we had, the person who set this quest to you is Cecil, and if you enter the letters CECIL into the cryptex, it opens and you reveal another clue. So this is the final clue of the mystery, and it reads, the end drawing closer, rune dials must be shifted. Once their positions discerned, the darkness be lifted. From Charles Burkham's perspective, the key is in view. Arrange earth, fire, water, and magic, depending on hue. Water probably found, clinging onto the cold, its secret revealed, its mystery told. Fire and earth, their bond has grown strong, stored amongst volumes of volumes, their home does not belong. Magic revealed at the start, inlaid in instruction, part of the first vessel that secured the corruption. And now you have all the parts that you need, it's all up to you to finally succeed. Now, this final clue is actually sort of 5 separate parts that need to be deciphered, and it pulls all of the puzzles together that we've had so far. So the first two paragraphs, the end drawing closer, rune dials must be shifted. This refers to the box that was revealed at the very beginning, and if you read the letter at the very beginning, it explains that this is the box that holds the curse, and you have to open this box to get rid of the curse. This box has rune dials, which are each of the wheels on the side, and that's what we need. So we need the 4 different runes that we need to enter to the sides of the box in order to open it. But we don't know which runes to use, and we don't know which sides we have to put those runes into yet. From Charles Berkham's perspective, the key is in view. Arrange earth, fire, and water depending on hue. So this is an instruction as to which runes are going to go on which side of the box. Again, in the first letter, Charles Berkham was the person who the curse was placed upon because he was doing nasty things, and Agatha, who made the curse, she had a very low opinion of Charles Berkham, and so in the riddle saying from Charles Berkham's perspective, the key is in view. Charles Berkham, in her mind, would be in hell. So from his view, in hell, he'd be looking up at us. So from Charles Berkham's perspective, you're looking up at the rune box, and we know from the clues that it's going to be to do with its hue, which is color. Arrange earth, fire, water, and magic. Now, if you take that rune box and you look at it from the bottom, a quirk of the filament that I used for this printing is that each of these sides has a distinct color: blue, red, green, and pink. That's water, fire, earth, and magic. So now we know which sides each of our eventual runes are going to have to be entered into. The next clue: water probably found, clinging onto the cold, its secret revealed, its mystery told. So this is a relatively straightforward one. Again, this mystery is supposed to be played during a dinner party, during a party. So people would have been in and around our kitchen most of the day. If you go back to the kitchen and you see clinging onto the cold, there is a fridge magnet which has got one of the runes on it. So we now know that we have to enter that rune onto the side that is indicated by the blue. Fire and earth, their bond has grown strong, stored amongst volumes of volumes, their home does not belong. Their bond has grown strong, they are held together, stored amongst volumes of volumes. Now, volumes refers to books, volumes, and volumes of volumes are cookbooks. It's volumes, books full of amounts. So that's cookbooks and recipe books. We have a cupboard full of recipe books in our kitchen, and one of the books does not belong. So if you look into the recipe book cupboard, you can see that one of these books is not a recipe book. It's called Echoes from the Past, and if you open that up, there are the 2 next tablets. They're in there, and they've got 2 more runes. So we now know the next 2 that we have to enter. The next paragraph: magic revealed at the start, inlaid in instruction, part of the first vessel that secured the corruption. So this, the first vessel that secured the corruption that we've had since the start of the mystery, is that white box at the very beginning, which the rune cube was held inside and had our first clues. And on top is the last rune clue. So you can see that the O of open has one of the runes on it. And so we now know what the final rune is that we have to enter on the side that is indicated by the pink. And in fact, if we enter all of those, it opens. And once it's opened, you can release the curse, which in this case is a set of keyrings. They're little themed keyrings that have got the 4 runes on that we use to solve that final puzzle. Everyone that solves the puzzle gets a keyring to take home. And those are printed using the same filament as I printed the original cursed box in. And while I'm on the subject, I will put links in the description to the video for all of the props that I used here. So most of them were free puzzle boxes and free things that I found, and then I've adapted. So the this cursed puzzle box is exactly as it was made available on the internet, whereas the cryptex I made changes to. The tablets are all my own designs. I modeled them myself. The salt cellar and stuff like that, and then everything else was printed, and I sort of designed and printed that myself. And actually, to show how all of it links together, I've made this flow chart. This was partly for me when I was writing it, but also I think it's quite helpful to see how all of the clues link together and how certain things that you gain at the beginning of the experience are tied into the very end. So everything sort of comes back around in a full circle to help you solve the mystery, and everything's works together. So, well, I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making this. If you have any questions about this kind of thing, do reach out. I don't mind answering questions. I'm not pretending like I'm an expert. I've only done this once, but I did enjoy it, and I did learn a lot while I was doing it. So hopefully you'll feel inspired to make your own, and good luck.